so we're back and ready to plunge headfirst into today's AI landscape. Buckle up, folks, because things are moving fast.
Absolutely. The rate of progress is just mind-blowing, really.
It's wild, right? And what we're seeing is not just like theoretical stuff anymore. It's AI bursting out of the lab and into our everyday lives, which is what makes today's deep dive so exciting.
Couldn't agree more. We've got cutting-edge research, we've got EU regulations, we've even got AI making art and farming.
AI farming, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all this?
Well, we've got research papers, news articles, social media discussions, a whole buffet of information. And our mission today is to break it all down for our listeners, make sense of the chaos.
Love it. Chaos tamed. So let's dive into the deep end, shall we? And there's no better place to start than with, well, the quantum leap in AI.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Had to. But seriously, researchers at MIT are hinting at some seriously boosted AI processing speeds with this new quantum algorithm.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like a minor speed bump here. This is potentially exponential, game-changing levels of speed. And it all comes down to quantum computers.
Right, because normal computers are like zeros and ones, right?
Exactly, binary systems. But quantum computers, they use these things called qubits, which can be a 0, a 1, or both at the same time. Mind-bending stuff. But it means they can tackle problems that would take classical computers, well, practically forever.
Okay, so for our listeners, what does this actually mean?
So let's take drug discovery. Right now, AI is already being used to simulate like complex molecular interactions. But with quantum computing, that process could become unbelievably fast. We could potentially develop new drugs, new treatments in a fraction of the time.
Wow, so we're talking potentially life-saving breakthroughs happening way faster.
Precisely. But it's not just about speed. Quantum AI could also lead to like way more accurate climate models, better materials, AI solving problems we can't even comprehend right now. It's truly mind-boggling.
It really is. So from the mind-bending world of quantum physics, we jump to, well, something a little more down to earth. AI is getting creative, literally.
Huh. Yeah. I know, right? It's wild to see AI not just crunching numbers, but also creating art and, get this, helping to grow our food.
AI farmers, it's official.
Yeah.
But how does that even work?
So there's this new platform from XAI, and it uses AI to analyze all sorts of agricultural data, weather patterns, soil conditions, you name it. And then, get this, it predicts optimal planting and harvesting times for farmers.
So AI is telling farmers when to plant and harvest their crops. Is that actually reliable?
The early results are incredibly promising. We're talking about potential increases in crop yields, more efficient use of resources, even paving the way for more sustainable agricultural practices.
Wow, it's impressive. And then there's the art side of things.
Yeah. So imagine an AI tool that can restore damaged artworks with like pinpoint accuracy. Think about all those ancient frescoes, historical photographs, all brought back to their former glory.
Okay, gotta admit, that's pretty darn cool. AI restoring art is a side I hadn't considered. It's like AI's bridging the gap between the past and the future, right?
I like that. And speaking of bridging gaps, let's move on to something that connects this cutting-edge AI to, well, the devices we use every day.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
All right, so remember TensorFlow, Google's, super powerful AI framework.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the name thrown around. But I gotta admit, I don't fully grasp what it is.
No worries. It's basically like a toolbox for building and deploying AI systems. But here's the exciting part. It just got a major update, and it's all about this thing called edge computing.
Edge computing. That sounds kind of edgy.
Haha, it does, but it's actually super cool. So up until now, a lot of AI processing has happened in the cloud, right? And, on these massive servers.
Yeah, it makes sense. Those are the heavy lifters, right?
Exactly. But with edge computing, we're talking about shifting that processing power to devices at the edge of the network. Think smartphones, smart speakers, even your car.
Wait, so instead of my phone sending data to the cloud for processing, it can do it all by itself?
Yep, that's the goal. And it comes with some serious perks, especially for the privacy-conscious folks out there.
Right, because if the data's not going to the cloud, it's, well, safer.
You got it. Plus, edge computing means AI applications can respond in real time. It's about making AI more seamless, more integrated into our lives.
So like faster responses from my virtual assistant, less lag when I'm using an AI-powered app.
Exactly. It's all about bringing the power of AI closer to the user.
Well, color me impressed. But I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. We're talking about increasingly powerful AI. And well, that brings up some ethical concerns, right?
Absolutely. And thankfully, it's not just us talking about it. The EU is taking action with these new proposals for AI regulation.
Okay, so what's the EU's take on all this?
Their main focus is on transparency and accountability, particularly in what they call high-risk AI applications.
High risk, like what kind of applications are we talking about?
Think about AI being used in healthcare, in law enforcement, even in things like credit scoring. These are areas where the decisions made by AI systems can have a huge impact on people's lives.
Right, big consequences. So how does the EU propose to regulate that?
Well, they're proposing mechanisms to make sure that these AI systems are auditable, that their decision-making processes are understandable, basically shining a light on how these systems work so we can make sure they're fair and unbiased.
That makes sense. But isn't there a risk of stifling innovation with all these regulations?
It's a valid concern, and that's exactly the tightrope the EU is trying to walk, fostering innovation while protecting people from potential harm. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It definitely will. Now, for our last stop today, let's head to the place where everyone's talking about AI social media, and specifically the potential of AI in education.
Ah, yes, the rise of the AI tutor. It's generating a ton of buzz, and for good reason.
I mean, imagine having a personalized AI tutor, adapting to each student's needs, providing tailored instruction and feedback.
Hmm?
That's a game changer,
It
right?
really could be. It could revolutionize the way we learn,
Yeah.
making education more accessible, more engaging, more effective. But, and there's always a but with powerful technology, we can't just blindly embrace it.
Right. There's got to be a catch, right?
Well, not necessarily a catch, but definitely things to consider. Like, we need to make sure these AI systems are designed to be fair and equitable, free from bias.
Right, because any bias baked into those algorithms could really disadvantage some students.
Absolutely. And then there's the question of over-reliance on technology. AI tutors should be a tool, to complement and enhance the learning experience, not replace human interaction entirely.
Couldn't agree more. Teachers, mentors, they play such a crucial role, and we can't lose sight of that.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot where technology empowers both students and educators.
Well said. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the mind-bending world of quantum AI to the ethical considerations of AI in education. It's clear that AI is poised to transform our world in profound ways. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is this. AI is a tool, a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for, well, not so good. It's up to us as a society to shape how AI is developed and deployed. We need to stay informed, we need to ask critical questions, and we need to engage in these conversations about the future we want to create.
Powerful words to end on. So to our listeners, keep those brains engaged, keep those conversations flowing, and join us next time for another deep dive into the world of AI.
See you then.